Hello and welcome to the Russian Grand Prix. You join me, ISRL Calm Koala, for round 6 here in Division 4. As you can see, the skies are beautifully clear and blue as the cars start to head out for a busy 18-minute qualifying session. I am being told from a few drivers inside of the chat that we have a dry race and a dry qualifying, so the drivers are looking at a beautifully warm Russian Grand Prix today as we're with Whitson in the Williams. He's out first on track, as we'll get a track map and some tyre data up for you as well. It'll be the Alpine out first of Victor, and I'm not so up to date with Division 4 so far, so I'm just going to get the standings and hopefully be able to tell you who we're expecting to have a shining performance and who's expecting for a bit of a better improvement this weekend. So you're looking at your championship leader in Division 4 for this season is catastrophic now, with Dr. Cavapo going up a division. Greenwell Army and Fallen Monkeys are also looking strong this season, so they'll be drivers that we're looking at quite intensely in this race to see how they can forward their championship charge. So let's see how Victor gets on this lap. We'll ride on board for a little bit of it, maybe all of it. So he got turn 1 very well, he didn't invalidate, holding a nice line in the middle of the long sweeping turn 3. And the load that puts on the tyres is quite a high load, and this track is very tricky for track limits as well, so as you can see, Victor just keeping everything within inside the white lines and not really taking too much risk. As we've got Hartman in the other Alpine giving Whitson a shout out and saying he's extremely excited for this race, and I'll be hoping Hartman can have a good result out here today in Russia. As Victor opens the DRS onto the back straight, going purple in sector 1, but he is the first car out on track, so we'll have to wait for a bit of an indicator to see who we're expecting to get on pole here in Russia. Some drivers are still in the pit lane, but we have a handful of drivers on the track at the minute, with Ninos, Pato, Victor, Whitson, Gravel Trap 30, Fallen Monkeys and Rusty Olcan all being out on track. Victor keeps everything valid, and that's a 32.954, so that's not a terrible lap time for him. That's a strong lap time from knowing what I've just done in practice. That should leave him quite near the top of the board. His Rusty Olcan does a 134.4. Whitson goes faster on a 132.345, and that's a very good lap by the Williams, and that will put him on provisional pole. As we'll go and see what Fallen Monkeys is doing now. He hasn't invalidated, and he is still on a lap on them soft tyres. Coming up to the second to last corner. Through the last corner, and Fallen Monkeys, that's a 34.2, so he'll be hoping for an improvement on that second and third run, but I'll be classing this as maybe just a banker for him. His gravel trap does a 36.6. I can only think there's been some form of a mistake in that lap there. I see how he can get inside of this top 10 and really put himself in a winning position for the race. From what we've seen in the comments, Michael Fury says he loves this track, so him going on the mediums might not be any surprise, as his pace could be really quite good this weekend with the number 2 car painted in bright white on the side of that Aston Martin. We have Lennox as well, also out on a lap, but I believe he's run out of fuel in that Haas and he's just trying to get back to the pit lane. Doing a good job at keeping out of the way though, as there's still 4 to 5 drivers that haven't even been out of the pit lane yet, with Catastrophic, Sinful, as Catastrophic is now out in the Aston Martin. There isn't anyone on our lap. I think Michael Furious will be the first to start one here, as he comes out of the last corner and launches onto his lap with them medium tyres now. DRS wide open through turn 1, wide and sweeping flat. You don't think about it as a driver, but as you come down to the turn 2, a heavy braking jam down to about 80 miles per hour and wide on the loud pedal. Keep it close and tight to the curb on the inside to gain as much time as possible through the long sweeping corner of 3. Open up 4 as much as you can, watch track limits on the exit. Furious does that really well there. Into 5, also a tricky corner. Lots of inside curb there, he runs it just as wide as he can on the outside there. Coming into 6, a quick kink in the track. Same with 7 here, another quick kink in the track. And you come to turn 8 before you get on the long straight towards the technical, tricky last sector. The DRS wide open again for the Aston Martin on his qualifying lap here in Russia. Blasting down to the very slow, tight chicane here at the bottom of the track. He's going purple here. Lots of inside curve there. A nice line through that chicane. This isn't maybe the best camera angle, but as we come into this last chicane, he opens it up as much as he can. Takes a lot of inside curve, but that wasn't maybe ideal. He ran a little bit deep there. Into the second to last corner. He opens up the last corner, nice. And that is a 1:33.1 for Michael Furious. A very quick lap for him there. And let's see who the next driver behind him was. With gravel track with a 1:35 dead. He has improved there, so that's maybe a 1 second improvement for him. Catastrophic also on a lap going purple here. He is your championship leader now. Dr. Cavato has gone up a division, so he'll be hoping to get it on pole and really solidify his championship fight this season. As he comes out of the last corner, the DRS letterbox is wide open there, as he's blasting all the way down to the chicane, hard on the brakes here. He doesn't take as much inside curb, but he could have maybe got a bit of a better line. Using all of the curb up to this very tight chicane. He opens it up as much as he can to get the best run through. See, that looked like a little bit of a better run than Michael Furious. As Catastrophic round in the last corner now. Let's see what he can do. That's 4th of a 1:33.3, so both of the drivers that have run the medium so far, 3 and 4, with the soft runners, 1 and 2. So hopefully there should be a bit of a strategy change out there, as Rusty Oil Can looks to be on a lap right now. Trying to elevate his McLaren up into the top 5 maybe. As Philip Marshall is 5th in the Haas, having a solid weekend once again. Rusty Oil Can hooked up this chicane really well there. That looks really quite committed from the McLaren driver as you come into this tight chicane. He didn't open it up quite as much as Catastrophic, and I think that will cost him time there. That chicane's all about exit speed rather than entry speed, and for Rusty Oil Can, that isn't an improvement for him. That's still a 34.0, and that will leave him P6. As for Monkey starting a lap into turn 2, running it nice and wide, and a nice sweeping line through the 3rd corner there in the Red Bull. Fallen Monkeys maybe looking for a strong weekend to elevate his championship charge up a little bit. Getting a nice toe from the Sauber, but oh, there's contact there! And Fallen Monkeys has gone straight over the back of the Alfa Romeo that was trying to get out of the way. And he will not be happy about that. Who was the Alfa Romeo? That would be Ninos Pato, who has had the collision with Fallen Monkeys, and Fallen Monkeys now out of this session and can no longer improve from P7. Talking about a championship fight, and that is not what he will have wanted. The stewards will definitely be looking at that, because Fallen Monkeys was definitely on a good lap, and the Alfa Romeo seemed to get in the way, and you have seen big contact here in the qualifying session here at Russia, with the Red Bull getting air as it jumps over the back of the Alfa Romeo of Ninos Pato, ruling one of your top out of qualifying with 6 minutes to go, as Ninos Pato in the way of Hartmann there on his lap, as we'll ride with him while he finishes it, as the Alfa Romeo limps back to the pit lane after that big contact. Hartmann elevates himself up. That's P4 for Hartmann. Splits catastrophic at Michael Furious on the mediums with a 133.175. A very good lap by Hartmann. So Hartmann showing that he's no slow coach this weekend either. Lenock on a lap now. He opens the DRS here, and down this back straight Lenock will be hoping to improve on that P11 and maybe jump himself into the P10, as Victor goes fastest in the Alpine now with a 132.310. That was a very strong lap by the the Alpine, should I say, sorry. And that puts Victor on provisional pole with 5 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in this qualifying session. Through the last corner now for Lenock, and that is a P5 with a 33.222, and he has split Michael Furious and catastrophic as well. So very tight and close on the mediums here in Russia in Division 4. As Sinful now out towards turn 1, maybe holding up Philip Marshall there. It doesn't look like it's held him up too much going through turn 2 and 3, but into turn 4, can he keep it inside the track limits? He can. Coming up to split time, 1/10 up on his best, so I don't know if that's enough to jump catastrophic right now, but hopefully that will definitely gain more time and bring him closer to the fight for the top 6, as Whitson's on an out lap as well now, and Michael Furious is on a lap, heading down towards turns 2 and 3. But Philip Marshall has invalidated, and he will not improve in that Haas this time round, as Sinful's also invalidated, so you can see track limits have been a bit of a problem here. But we're on board with Michael Furious, purple in sector 1, so this could be pole position for the Aston Martin driver right now. Through the fast little pink in the middle sector here of turn 6 and 7. Michael Furious, a good save there as the back end stepped out over the bump that we've seen the real life drivers of Giovinazzi and Carlos Sainz get caught out there, so a good save by Michael Furious, but he's not running DRS because he has invalidated. So Michael Furious, that lap will not count, as Lenock has gone up to P3 now with 130.0 in the Haas that's painted in the Russian paint scheme here at the Russian Grand Prix. He has put it on the second row with medium tyres, and that is an incredible lap time for Lenock there. He's really showing some grit, and he's managed to elevate the Haas onto the second row for possibly the first time this season I've seen a Haas on the second row, especially in real life. So a very good lap time there by Lenock to jump Michael Furious in the Aston Martin and put yourself in the second row just behind the leading two. Rush the oil can on a lap now. Let's see if this can elevate him any higher than 8th and maybe jump him into the top 6 or the top 5, as there is a few drivers out on laps here, as Catastrophic might have just started one as well. Rush the oil can nice and tidy through there. Very little oversteer, well controlled, so keeping the car well together. Rush the oil can doesn't open that chicane up as much as others, but it was still a very tidy run through there, and it'll be interesting to see if he can improve on his lap time as he passes the 132, 133. He doesn't improve by much. It is an improvement, but it was only by 33 thousandths. So Rush the oil can needs to find a lot more time than he is doing. As we'll go up to Catastrophic on his laps now. As he goes to the back straight and opens the DRS wide. Catastrophic will be hoping for a top 3 or 4 here. But it all depends whether he can keep it in the track limits. He's 3 tenths up from lap 133.3, so this will put him into the 32s just about. It will only be good enough for P3 unless he can gain more time again. Catastrophic opens it up. A very nice run through there. And he backs off and pits. Catastrophic feels like he can gain more time. Whitson on a lap. He's purple in sector 2. Nice and tidy through there, carrying as much speed as he can, using all of the gear ratio through 3, 4, 5 and 6. Back down with gear ratio. Wide on the loud pedal, coming up to the penultimate final 2 corners. Can he put this Williams on provisional pole in Russia with 30 seconds to go? He can, that's a 32.2. And that's Whitson on pole here in the Williams. Can anyone else deny him? There's no one else on a lap currently. There's Michael Furious on an out lap who might just get across the line. Gravel trap too, but Victor's in the pit lane. So there will be very few people that can deny him now. It's over, and that is Whitson on pole position with Victor second, Lennox third in the Haas, Michael Furious fourth, Hartman in the Alpine is fifth. Catastrophic, not what I would have hoped for, being the championship leader this time round in P6. Philip Marshall in the other of the Haas is P7, so a strong weekend for the Haas team at their home Grand Prix here in Russia. Rush the oil can still on a lap in 8th, but 2 seconds down and not improving currently, so I don't really think he's really going to challenge the top 7. He's P8. Fallen Monkeys is P9, as you've seen him have the huge collision with Ninos Pato early in that session. Sinful is P10. Gravel Trap P11 in the other McLaren, and Ninos Pato P12, and I feel his weekend may just be about to get a little bit worse when the stewards investigate that early collision with Fallen Monkey with about 6 minutes remaining in that session. So far it looks very close on times here. Not a lot splitting these drivers. As you can see, the top 5 is covered by a second, and the top 10 covered by, well, the top 9 covered by 2 seconds. But I feel like Fallen Monkey could have maybe been a bit higher up the grid there without that inconvenient accident in the middle of the Russian Grand Prix. As Whitson, in his debut here in ISRL, I believe, is now on pole in the Williams with 46 seconds remaining as we watch Rush the Oil can get pushed back in. Whitson on pole. with a real ding-dong battle with Victor there. Less than a tenth separates them, so this race should be really exciting, and I can't wait to talk you through it. So I'm just going to take a quick break to prepare for the race, and I'll be right back to talk you through all the action of this Russian Grand Prix. So, welcome back to this Russian Grand Prix here in Division 4 ISRL Esports. I will talk you through the next 27 laps of racing here at Russia in Sochi. From the hectic qualifying we just witnessed then, we have been given a unique front row here in the F1 world. We have Whitson in the Williams on P1, Victor is P2 in the Alpine, with Lenock on the mediums, P3 in the Haas. So really doing a very good job here in the Haas this weekend. Michael Fury, he's in P4 on the mediums also, with Hartmann behind him in the Alpine on a set of mediums, and Catastrophic on a set of mediums as well. So we have 4 drivers in the middle of this top 10 on medium tyres, looking to do the alternative strategy and really make it work out for them today. Philip Marshall comes in 7th in the other Haas in 7th with a set of soft tyres, and Rusty Oilcan is 8th in the McLaren. Fallen Monkey 9th after that big accident. It's good to see the Red Bull team has rebuilt that car just how it should be for him, and he's back out in this Russian Grand Prix to take his grid place of 9th. Sinful is 10th, didn't have the best qualifying, but he'll be looking to improve in this Russian Grand Prix. Gravel Trap is P11 on the mediums, trying the alternative strategy from the P11 position. This could really work out for him if he plays his cards right and stays out of trouble into turn 1. And Ninos Pato on the soft tyres in 12th place is your final driver in P12. But as you can see, the leaders of Whitson and Victor rounding the final few corners to line up for what should be a hectic and packed 27 laps of racing here at the Sochi Autodrome. The drivers lining up in their grid spots as Gravel Trap and Ninos Pato are lining up now. Let's see if we can get a better camera view of this race. There doesn't seem to be one right now. There is a yellow flag out. We have got one now. It's 5 red lights and lights out. Whitson with a okay start, as well as Victor with a very good start, and he takes the lead into turn 1 at the Russian Grand Prix. There's a McLaren round, big accident. That's Rusty Oil Can out of the Russian Grand Prix very early on at turn 1 of the Flat Kink, and it's a virtual safety car as he had a big accident there, slamming the concrete wall at about 120 miles per hour, and not what McLaren would have wanted. Victor takes the lead immediately in the Alpine, as it seems to be Ninos Pato the biggest gainer here of 8 positions, and we get a bit of a chance to calm down now, as the start wasn't as chaotic as it should have been, with the virtual safety car very early for Rusty Oil Can there, out of this session very early on lap 1, so we are left with 11 runners immediately. But we are still under virtual safety car. The driver's queuing up behind them. We don't know when it will end, but they do. So do they know something we don't? As the driver's queuing up to get racing again. They're not fucking racing in the Haas, as Victor leads this Grand Prix. Philip Marshall has been given a penalty for having a severe collision with Catastrophic in the Sauber. That is not what he would have wanted in the Alfa Romeo Sauber. His championship lead could be diminishing here with a 5-second penalty, as Whitson looking at gaining on Victor, as we're back under green flag racing now. So it has been a fairly calm start to this race, as Philip Marshall pitting, who had that collision with Catastrophic, is in the pit lane, maybe to change a front wing after that collision. But we ride on board with Hartman now in the medium tyres. The grid has spread out quite a little bit so far, with about a second between each driver, but Fallen Monkey gaining positions is Ninos Pato, being overtaken by Fallen Monkey and Sinful there, with Gravel Trap now closing in on the Sauber driver. They need to be careful of track limits here though, because penalties could make all the difference at the end of these 27 laps. There you can see the tyre strategy for both the soft and medium runners, both on a one stop, just the other way around and opposited. Ninos Pato now gaining on Sinful, not looking as vulnerable as he did maybe half a lap ago here, as he's trying to get a slip down to the chicane. Will Ninos Pato try the overtake on? Will he think better of it? He does try down the inside, but that was reckless. It's the Red Bull round, and the Red Bull nearly collects Gravel Trap. And Ninos Pato for the second time this weekend, being rather unsportsmanlike here in the Alfa Romeo, and bullying the Red Bull off the track and spinning him round there at the chicane. Not what we want to see there, really. We was hoping for a clean move, but not to be, as we'll go back to the front, as there is a little bit of a train here between Michael Fures and Hartman, as the medium runners are starting to pile up, as the two soft tyre runners using the soft rubber to extend their lead out front. As Whitson has no front wing, Whitson in the wall, losing his place from second, as Lanog, Fury and Hartman pull round him. Whitson has no front wing on the William, and that could be a disaster. His race has been ruined from racing for the lead. He'll have to return to the pit lane and get a new one, and that is a real disaster for the Williams driver there. After such a good qualifying on pole, his race falling away from him in lap 3 after a run-in with the wall. Or Victor it could have been. I did not quite see what had happened, but I believe it was a run-in with the wall in the middle of turn 3, and Victor now leads by 2.5 seconds on the soft tyre, with his closest rival of Whitson falling down the order to 7th with no front wing, and really not what what Whitson would have wanted, but Hartman still pressuring Michael Fiores into this last corner and onto lap 4 now of this 27 Grand Prix. 27 lap Grand Prix, should I say. Hartman gets the RS now on Michael Fiores, but he doesn't look like he's close enough to gain. He thinks better of it and holds position into turn 2 and 3. With Whitson now in the pit lane, falling down to 10th and onto the mediums. He will probably have to pit again on the mediums, but he can try and make it all the way through the race, but definitely not ideal for the Williams driver. Philip Marshall is in P11, who also had an early collision with Catastrophic, also feeling the pain of front wing damage and having to pit. Oh, that's Lennox in the wall! Big accident there on the inside for Lennox, and as you can see, that car just exploded like confetti against the concrete wall. The car well and truly in the wall there, the front wheel broken, and Hash would have wanted on his home race weekend for that team. Out of the P3 position and into the wall. He's just lost P2 in the Hash there, and this changes everything. It's a safety car. The leader, Victor, is pitting for a free pit stop under the safety car as Michael Fiore stays out to take the lead of this already crazy Russian Grand Prix. With Hartman now in P2 in the Alpine, second in this race, Catastrophic third in this race in the Salva, but he does have a 5-second penalty for a severe collision. Fallen Monkey, probably the turnaround of the weekend, P4. Victor in the pit lane will be P6, P7 as Ninos Pato and Gravel Trap elevate themselves to P5 and 6. Sinful also pits in P8. Whitson, well, that didn't really work out for him. He's not managed to recover any time on the mediums, but the safety car will bunch him back up so he can make his way back through the pack. Whitson up to 8th, gaining on Sinful, so will Philip Marshall. But yeah, a very big accident there for Lennox, putting him out of this Russian Grand Prix in the Russian car. Not what he would have wanted on that inside concrete barrier. After a chaotic 5 laps here in Russia, Michael Fiore, as you remember, commented saying he loved this track, now leads the Grand Prix. With Hartman just behind him, who has been looking very quick and has hassled the Aston Martin. As we wait for all the drivers to catch up and we can get back to green flag racing. With the new update here on F1 2021, you can now see the beautiful Aston Martin safety car that they've added for this year, and they added in this year's real life F1. Leading the pack here on lap 5 of this Russian Grand Prix after an accident for Lennox out of P2. He will be our second retirement, leaving us with only 10 runners here in Division 4. Michael Fiores does lead. Catastrophic, your championship leader, is P3. However, he has picked up a penalty in the first virtual safety car stint for having collision with another driver. So this gives Fallen Monkey a net third place here in this Grand Prix, as Catastrophic will have to take that penalty under his first pit stop because it's only 5 seconds, so he won't get a chance to use that. We'll go down to Fallen Monkey and I'm going to show him some love now. He had a very hard qualifying session in P9 there, but he has recovered really well, and really showing some grit, and he's now back up to 4th place here. He should have maybe pitted under the safety car to get the best advantage he could from it, but currently he's P4, and that's really good, and what Red Bull would have been wanting as well this weekend, as they've not had maybe the strongest week in the last 2, but Fallen Monkey's really having a comeback drive here, and up into P4 behind his championship rival Catastrophic. Gravel Trap also having a very tough qualifying session, but here in race pace he's here in P5, looking like he could be fighting for a podium. I don't expect the safety car to be in this lap, with Ninos Pato P6, but having 2 accidents this weekend, not having the greatest weekend, but I'm sure a top 5 finish would definitely put a cherry on that and really help him get past some of the less good parts of this weekend. Your net race leader who has pitted would be Victor, who pitted under the safety car, but that's just allowed Whitson, who lost his front wing on lap 4 if you remember, to close right back up with only 1 lap older tyres, so this has really helped Whitson in some ways, as Philip Marshall is in 9th and Sinful in P10 on the mediums. Everyone bar 2 drivers running it. But Hartman right with Michael Fury. You go back to green flag racing right now. No DRS here. Michael Fury leads the pack into turn 2. And there's nothing Hartman can do there, as Michael Fury leads Hartman away now. Hartman still trying to stay with him, but I don't know if the overtake is coming. It's not here for Hartman. He might have to wait later into the lap, as there's a yellow flag. And that is Pato as well, Ninos Pato. I believe there was a collision there back with the 2 drivers, and they are both out of this Grand Prix, as Hartman gaining on Michael Fury for the lead. We only have 8 runners in this Grand Prix left, as the marshals get to work trying to tidy up in turn 4 of this Grand Prix and get rid of the Williams and the Salva. But it is a full safety car again, and as we say many times in motorsport, safety cars do breed safety cars, and that's true here in Russia, as Whitson and Ninos Pato have come together at turn 4 and are now both out of this Russian Grand Prix, elevating Sinful to P8, but not what Whitson would have wanted. Remember, he started on pole position here, and now he's out of the Grand Prix. Michael Fury is throwing a dummy to the pit lane, as Fallen Monkey does take advantage of the pits and does pit behind Hartman. Catastrophic and Gravel Trap go through, but let's just see how the pit stops go now. A lot of smoke coming off that Red Bull, maybe some very hot brakes in that pit lane, but decent pit stops for both of them. But Michael Fury finds himself following his sister car round the Russian Grand Prix once again behind the Aston Martin safety car, leading this Grand Prix on lap 8 with Catastrophic, a championship leader, just behind him now in P2. Gravel Trap is P3. He started down in 11th place on this grid. He did not have the greatest qualifying session, but he is back and he's in the top 3 now, with Victor, your original race leader who pitted, P4 and only a stone throw away from the lead. Philip Marshall is P5 in the Haas, the one remaining Haas, as Sinful is P6 in the Red Bull, also pitting, with Hartman on the hard tyres. That's a strange call at this stage in the race. I'd have thought he'd have gone for the mediums, but Hartman opting for the hard tyres. Maybe he prefers them, with Fallen Monkeys just behind him on the mediums. In the other Red Bull, we have had a chaotic 8 laps. filled with carbon fibre confetti and many accidents. But here we go. Hopefully we should be back to green flag racing very soon, as Michael Fury still leading this Grand Prix in the Aston Martin on the medium tyres, waiting for the opportune moment to pit and maybe keep on to this lead. He throws a dummy towards the pit lane, but he doesn't do it again. So Michael Fury, well leading this Grand Prix behind the safety car, still has the knowledge to try and dupe Catastrophic and Gravel Trap to following him, or even pitting into the pit lane when he wasn't particularly going to do that. So, an interesting mind game there from Michael Fury, as we should be green flag racing after this lap here at Russia, as the safety car has now picked up all remaining 8 drivers in this Grand Prix. Riding on board with Gravel Trap currently in P3 in the orange McLaren, with Victor, the race leader, behind him, or net race leader behind him in the Alpine. As we get ready to go back to green flag racing once again here in Russia. We've had 2 safety cars here and 1 virtual safety car so far in this Grand Prix, as Victor hitting the rev limiter in that Alpine. There you go, there's the race control message at the top of your screen. We'll be back to green flag racing. Michael Fury, will he let the safety car run away now? He doesn't, he's staying right with it. This is interesting. Will he back the pack up? He does a little bit there, but not really. He does now. He allows the safety car to go. Back Catastrophic, Gravel Trap, Victor, Philip Marshall, Sinful, Hartman and Fallen Monkeys up. As was that contact there? It wasn't quite, it was close. Michael Fury out of the last corner. Catastrophic right with him now for the race lead here in Russia. Championship leader Catastrophic is right with Michael Fury into turn 2. He thinks better of it, nothing happening. As that's Hartman. Hartman has made it back up. There's a hash round. Philip Marshall spinning and does make the wall backwards. Big accident there as Hartman has. It was Victor that gained a lot of positions right there. And he gained 3 places into turn 1 as it all kicked off ahead of him, putting him into P3. Gravel Trap under pressure now from Sinful as the race lead is getting hot here, with Catastrophic pushing Michael Fury the full way on the mediums. Sinful has managed to pass Gravel Trap, but Gravel Trap fighting back now. It is rather close, but we are watching the battle for the lead here, as Catastrophic doesn't seem to have had enough on this opening lap to challenge the Aston Martin. Victor on 5 laps younger mediums behind him, already made his pit stop in this race, is now P3 with not a lot to worry about in this race. He doesn't even have to overtake these guys. Gravel Trap still holding on to P4 as Hartman weaving about trying to find some way round Sinful, but it's not really happening for him. As Fallen Monkeys pits, that's a shame. he won't be progressing up the order any further with a pit stop now. As they close up to gravel trap. Too wide into the turn 2. Good move by Sinful, but gravel trap coming back. Oh! It gets very close, but Hartman down the inside. There was a little bit of contact there, I'm sure. As the McLaren goes wide and loses 2 places. The Alpine gains 2 places. And Sinful holds position. Well up at the front, the drivers separated by 1 second each, pulling away 5-6 seconds up to the next drivers as Hartman has now managed to pass Sinful and get himself a little bit of a gap going. So this will be your battle for the lead here. The drivers have spread out quite a lot right now, so there isn't a lot. And oh, was that contact for catastrophic? It wasn't, but it has allowed Victor past him, and not what catastrophic would have been hoping for this weekend. That's P3 now for him, falling down the order 1 place by Victor, as DRS is now re-enabled to allow these drivers to go racing even closer, but that won't affect Michael Fures in the Aston Martin. He's 1.5 seconds clear, leading this Russian Grand Prix, as Victor has now a 1.5 second gap to catastrophic, as Hartman starts to close in the gap now that was built in the first 2 green flag laps after that safety car. 4 monkeys 26 seconds away from the rest of the pack here at the back. I can only assume he picked up damage off that restart, but 8 drivers in this race and all spread out nice and evenly, as Michael Fures still leads this race with 11 lap old mediums, so he will have to pit at some point for a set of soft tyres or a set of hard tyres in this Grand Prix. As you can see, Victor on the 4 to 5 lap fresher mediums are now gaining on my. He dupes the pit lane again. That seems to be his favourite trick here in Russia, but Victor doesn't buy any of it. Victor now within 4 tenths of the leader. This should be an easy move for Victor. Depends how easy the Aston Martin makes it. 4 tenths, 3 tenths, 2 tenths. Not quite close enough. Michael Fures has done well to avoid being overtaken there by Victor, and has used his ERS deployment correctly not to get overtaken there, as gravel trap is in the pit lane for a set of brand new hard tyres. The battle for the lead is still going, with Victor chasing Michael Fures furiously on lap 13 in this race. As you see, just under half of the field do have penalties right now. So shows what track limits can really do. As Michael Fures pulls over and almost allows Victor through. But Victor now leading this Grand Prix like he was from the start of it on the medium tyres. He doesn't have to pit again if he doesn't want to, I don't think. But he does need to not make any mistakes and now start to pull away from Michael Fures, as he will take a second place in the Aston Martin, I'm sure. For the Monkeys has now got a bit of a race with gravel trap, even though I think he's a lot quicker than gravel trap at this stage of this Grand Prix. He's in 7th place with Philip Marshall in 6th, struggling with them brakes a little bit, but making the final corner and starting lap 14. Sinful is 5th in the other Red Bull. Hartman is 4th in the Alpine, but he's about 4.5–5 seconds away from Catastrophic, even though he has far newer tyres than the very old Alfa Romeo's tyres on 13 lap old mediums. Michael Fiore is about 1.5 seconds back off Victor now, also on 13 lap old mediums. And Victor is also now leading with 8 lap old mediums. So this race has settled down a little bit with not a lot of drivers and big gaps starting to form. It will all be for this top position of 2 and 3 between Michael Fiore and Catastrophic, as I expect Victor to pull away and disappear a little bit. Lennox has just informed us that Whitson is a new driver, and his debut he did get pole position. In his debut he received that pole position, but his race ended with Ninos Pato. I don't understand or see what had happened there, so we'll have to see what the stewards room is saying during the week to see if there's a collision there or both drivers just made a mistake. But on lap 15 your leader is Victor, followed by Michael Fiore, followed by Catastrophic. The closest battle on track currently is Catastrophic and Michael Fiore for P2 and 3, or Gravel Trap and Philip Marshall for P7 and 8, as Fallen Monkey has been promoted up into P6 now. Some drivers have started to pit. As you see Michael Fiore's pits, Catastrophic hopes to stay 1 lap longer out in the 1 lap longer he hopes to stay out on track, leaving Michael Fiore to pit onto a set of soft tyres with just 11 laps to remaining in the Alfa Aston Martin into P5 now. Sinful up into P4, Hartman into P3 on them hard tyres, as Catastrophic trying to make an overcut work. We don't see it very often. The overcut is where you stay out 1 lap later than your opponent, you go faster and come out ahead. Quite often we see an undercut where you pit 1 lap earlier and the new tyres allow you much more grip and time and you can jump your opposition. But here we see Catastrophic going for a much more bold and risky overcut here. Onto the back straight. He doesn't need to pass Michael Fiore, but I'm sure he wants to get the 2nd position in the Alfa Romeo. But just remember, he does also have a 5-second penalty for that opening collision with Philip Marshall. As he comes to the pit lane now, is he going to try it? He does try the overcut. Let's watch this pit stop now and see where he comes out in response to Michael Fiore. So he's coming up to the tight last chicane here in Russia. They're coming up to the final 2 corners. In fact, this should be very close, as we'll just flip at Catastrophic. The 5-second penalty is going to cost him, as he's not moving. And Michael Fury has now blasted past in the pit lane and back up into a net second place in this race for Michael Fury. As Hartman, as we need to talk about an Alpine 1-2 here in Russia. Victor leads by 10 seconds on lap 17, but Hartman is behind on 8 lap hard in second to round up what looks to be almost a perfect weekend for the Alpine team. 10 seconds behind Hartman is Sinful and Michael Fury on the soft tyres for Michael Fury and 11 lap tyres for Sinful. Michael Fury will be hoping to gain a lot of time and catch that Red Bull very quickly. Catastrophic 10 seconds back off him now. And then a big gap of 10.7 seconds back to Fallen Monkeys as well. So we really do have some big gaps in this race. The closest one will be Michael Fury trying to catch Sinful, so we'll just ride on board for a short period of time here. And visibly you can see how much he's gaining every time he gets on the power. Fastest lap by Michael Fury, your 1:34.8 in the Aston Martin. And that will grant him a bonus point if he can keep the fastest lap of this Grand Prix and stay in the points, which here in ISRL we award points down to 15th. So every driver on the grid has got points today, but the drivers who survived longer got more points than others. Hartman picked up a penalty, but it shouldn't matter too much. He's got a 10.5 second gap now to Sinful, who's being charged down by the very quick Michael Fury here. The Aston Martin is now within a second and should find the overtake on the Red Bull rather easy, as he's right up behind it now. He comes out of the corner, opens the RS and blasts past the Red Bull. And rather wise by Sinful there. He knew that wasn't really his fight, not his race, and he'd lose more time fighting it than he would if he just let him pass. So he allows Michael Fury to run off and try and catch ISRL Esports now, or ISRL Hartman in second place. Aston Martin will be trying to ruin the Alpine 1-2 up front as Victor gains a little bit more time on his teammate and extends the lead again. This has been truly dominant by the Alpine driver here, and I don't really know how to describe how dominant he's been. He qualified second, he took the lead, and he's not really looked like losing the race ever since, as he leads now by 11.5 seconds coming into the final 8 laps of this Grand Prix here, as Hartman just behind him leading up that Alpine 1-2. Michael Fury going purple in sector 1 in the Aston Martin, trying to catch Hartman. I don't know if he has enough time with 8 laps and 9 seconds to gain. It could be a last lap attempt, so we will watch and see how Michael Fury gains on Hartman over the next 8 laps of this Grand Prix until the checkered flag, as this will be our closest battle now, as Catastrophic has started to close on Sinful for P4, trying to elevate himself from P5 up to P4, gaining large amounts of time on the Red Bull driver on them older medium tyres. As Michael Fury has gained about a second on Hartman there. So this is just what he needs, but he needs to be gaining more than just 1 second a lap. As catastrophic now. Has took 2 seconds in the final sector alone out of Sinful. Gaining, running down into turn 2. Early on the power there for turn 3. A nice sweeping line to catch Sinful and really make most of this as his championship rival, your foreign monkeys, won't score as high as him today. He is now fairly comfortable, should we say, in this race, as long as he can keep it out of the concrete wall, unlike a few other drivers today that we have seen. The drivers we have lost today in this Russian Grand Prix are Rusty-Oyokan, Lanok, Whitson and Ninos Pato. They are your retirements so far in this 27-lap Russian Grand Prix. Catastrophic now within a second of Sinful. Hopefully being able to get that DRS onto the pit straight. As he comes up to him before the second to last corner. Catastrophic having a look in a rather bizarre position, weaving about to let the Red Bull driver know he's in his mirrors, but he moves past the Red Bull and makes it look rather easy. The Alfa Romeo moves past Sinful and up into P4 for Catastrophic. But with just 6 laps remaining, Catastrophic could lose it all on penalties as these will become ever closer. So let's go to the penalties right now. Hartmann has 6 seconds of penalty. So if Michael Fiores gets within 3 seconds of Hartmann in this race, it could be all over for Hartmann and Alpine 1-2. But if Michael Fiores' tyres run out and Hartmann can hold him off by 3 seconds, that will really help Alpine in the championship, meaning they'll get a maximum point haul from the Russian Grand Prix in Division 4. I'd like to also remind you we have a joint Constructors' Championship for all divisions, and that would really elevate Alpine in a good position to gain so in the overall as well as the Division 4. Michael Fiores has proceeded to take another half of a second out of Hartmann. So gaining time, but not as much as he was. Them soft tyres are dying out now on lap 22 of the Russian Grand Prix. We're right on board with the man of the hour Hartmann in the Alpine, who really can do everything to boost Alpine in this one too. He's just got to keep the pace up and it should all be good. Catastrophic is P4 behind Michael Fiores. I believe them two are fighting for the championship, but it won't make much difference as Catastrophic is your championship leader. So the only people that will be gaining on him this race are Michael Fiores, Hartmann and Victor. And if we go back to the standings here in ISRL, it will be Michael Fiores that will be the closest to gaining points on him, but Catastrophic is more than what Michael Fiores will gain ahead. So this race won't really matter very much in his way of gaining points on the championship. Victor now leads this Division 4 race by 11.9 seconds from his teammate ISRL Hartman, who leads by 5.5 seconds from the charging Michael Fures in the Aston Martin, should I say. Catastrophic, he's just behind him in the Alfa Romeo in P4, Sinful in the Red Bull P5, Fallen Monkeys P6 in the other Red Bull, Philip Marshall P7 in the Haas, Gravel Trap is P8 in the McLaren, a long way away from anyone. I think Victor's closer to him than he is to Philip Marshall, so not really helping him out with an extra pit stop, I believe, there. As Victor comes round to start there, 24th lap of this Russian Grand Prix. Everyone who started this race has gained positions, bar Philip Marshall, and your biggest gainer being Sinful, and really progressing up the order in the Red Bull there with the position changes, as you can see. Gravel Trap just not having the pace, only making one pit stop, as the drivers ahead of him, Fallen Monkey and Philip Marshall, made two. I believe Gravel Trap maybe made mistakes rather than making pit stops. As you can see, the tyre data there, the medium tyres he put on from the very first safety car are still holding on there, but that 18 laps old, very old rubber there in the mediums, as Michael Fures has stopped gaining on Hartman as much. Let's hope Michael Fures can catch Hartman and give us some last lap drama here, but so far it looks like it could be a slam dunk 1-2 for Alpine here. Hartman just got to keep it on the road, Victor just got to keep it on the road, and Alpine will be 1-2 here in the Sochi Autodrome, a result that very few people would have predicted. As Hartman starting to gain on his teammate a little bit, but as you can see, all the gaps are very spread out, like a testing day, if you would like, as Victor rounding off the last few laps of this Russian Grand Prix. Michael Fures still trying to catch him, but them 8-lap-old softs are way past their best at this point, and he will struggle to gain a further 4 seconds to take this position off Hartman. So will Michael Fures make it within 3 seconds? That is the question. And I believe penalties will be the one we'll go back to now. Showing just how close it's going to be, a 1.6 second difference between Hartman and P3. So Michael Fures just has to get within 3 seconds of ISRL Hartman, and this position will be his. But Hartman is on hard tyres that will be slightly easier to drive on than the 8-lap-old soft, I would believe, as the gap is still coming down, but is now not by a very lot. Michael Fures has 2 laps to gain half a second, but to a second to get second place as we enter the penultimate lap, and we're going to show Victor some love, because his truly dominant performance here in Russia has been stunning and flawless, should we say. He doesn't have any penalties, he doesn't have anything to worry about. He took the lead off the line and he hasn't looked back since. Victor 8.5 seconds now up the road from his teammate. So Hartman is catching him, but Michael Fury's not gaining time that he needs. I think he will miss out, and this could be an Alpine 1-2, but we will have to wait just one more lap to find out, as Victor going towards the final sector before he will start the final lap of this race in Sochi. So Victor starts the penultimate lap here in Russia. We'll ride on board for a victory lap with Victor, as there's not much else going on in this race. Into turn 2, hits the apex. Easy on the power for turn 3, on very old hard mediums. Very old mediums, should I say. As we'll go back to the tyre graphic, 21 lap old mediums are going to see his Alpine around this final lap at Russia to give him one of the best victories I think he will have in his career. It's been completely dominant and he's looked unchallenged for large portions of it. He's coming up to the final back straight, the final time past the Russian fans here at the Sochi Autodrome in the Alpine, as Gravel Trap nearly spins there in the final chicane. That was a little bit unlucky for him, because I didn't mean to switch to him then, but Victor through the final sector, unchallenged, unrivaled, and now a winner here in Russia in the Alpine, going up to the final corners. Victor up to the final corner, wins the Grand Prix. Hartman second, Alpine 1-2 here in Russia. Michael Fury's third. Catastrophic comes in for a well-deserved 4th place here in the Alfa Romeo. Sinful is P5 with Fallen Monkeys just behind him, but Monkeys won't pressure his teammate. The penalty will promote him to 5th anyway. So Sinful P5 on track, but P6 after the penalties come through. Fallen Monkeys P5 after classification. Philip Marshall P7, and Gravel Trap a long way behind, but he will get the last of our places. He's coming around the final sector in that beautiful papaya orange McLaren. Gravel Trap in the orange McLaren towards the final sector, the final corner. P8 for Gravel Trap, and a solid result for the McLaren driver. Your driver of the day here is Sinful 1990 in the Red Bull, who finished 6th on track. Here you can see both Alpine drivers. Victor from China takes the win in the Alpine at Russia, as his teammate Hartman Esports takes the 2nd place from America, and in 3rd place is Catastrophic from the Deutschlands. But this is an amazing race for Alpine, 1 and 2 here in the Sochi Autodrome. So our final classification will be Victor from Hartman in the Alpine, that amazing 1-2. Michael Fury's P3, Catastrophic P4, Fallen Monkeys P5, Sinful P6, Philip Marshall P7, and gravel trap is the last of your finishing runners in P8. Your retirements today with Ninos Pato in P9, Whitson on his debut in P10, Lanock in P11, and Rusty Oilcan right on the very first lap out of the turn 1 in P12. My name has been ISRL Calm Koala. Thank you for watching this Russian Grand Prix, and I'll see you next week.